You are watching or listening to Purham and Associates. For more information, visit rpurham.com and subscribe on all social media platforms at rpurham. Thank you. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
Hey, good day to you all. Welcome to Permanent Associates. I'm your host, Randy Purham. Hey, I hope you all had a fantastic week thus far. And of course, you're preparing to enjoy the weekend. And being that it's Friday, this is the time that we take to thank our men and women who are serving our nation around the world, sacrificing and committing their time and freedom in protecting our freedom, our constitutional way of life. I ain't said that in so long. We thank you. We salute you. We wish you a safe journey back home to your friends, family, and loved ones, wherever they may be. Folks, I am excited today because I got my good friend, Andi Beurger, with us today. And for those that don't know who she is the founder of Voices Against Trafficking and a survivor of child sex trafficking by family members for 17 years. She is an advocate for victims worldwide. Her books, Voices Against Trafficking, The Strength of Many Voices Speaking as One, and A Fragile Thread of Hope, One Survivor's Quest to Rescue, are available on Amazon.com. Her latest release, Voices Against Trafficking, Courage is Contagious, is an international best-selling title. In 2023, Andi launched Voices of Courage magazine, a publication honoring everyday heroes who selfishly fight to protect human rights, which was accepted by the Library of Congress and is distributed internationally. Andi will host Voices of Courage TV in winter 2027. I'm excited for that. She co-produced Broken Treasures, the inspiration album, that's 2025 global music fundraiser featuring 15 popular artists who donated original songs to raise awareness for victims and survivors. Andi's work is regularly seen in global publications and is as much sought after international speaker and media guest. Andi and her husband have been married for 25 years. By sharing her personal story as a victim of family abuse and trafficking, Andi creates greater awareness of human trafficking and its devastating costs to communities worldwide. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing some and presenting to others, Miss Andi Beurger. Andi, welcome back.
Thank you. I'm glad to be back. What an honor.
Yes, it's been a long time, actually. I was looking through my notes as I was preparing for this, and I said, man, I know it hasn't been 4 years, because I know you've been on a couple of times, but the one that I saw recently was like 4 years. I said, nah, she's been on much later than that. So, but give us an update as to what's going on with you.
Well, gosh, we are just trucking along, not just with Voices Against Trafficking, but, getting the word out. So between this week, actually, and October, I'll have chapters in 4 other books that will be probably bestsellers and international bestsellers, talking about what we do and why it's important for people to be aware of human trafficking, what it really means, especially since I can talk on both sides of the coin, one being a victim survivor leader and the other being someone that is, pushing a movement so that we can eradicate it. But it's crazy. And who knew, Randy, in 6 years that we would actually be in Uganda and Pakistan, Mexico, soon to be Canada, Sweden, U.S. ambassador, has supported us. So we are just really blown away and grateful for God's blessings because for 6 years and a completely volunteer driven, as you know, program, I think that people are starting to wake up a little bit.
That is awesome, and congratulations on the expansion. That is incredible because Uganda's a tough cookie. I know that
It is.
a lot of the Eastern, Western, even Western African countries, they are the preps the, I guess you could say, the premier scene for human trafficking. So they're, whoever takes on that helm, they're going to have their hands full. And that's no doubt. And going into
They do, and we have orphans from the trafficking. Not to interrupt, sorry, there's a little delay, but yeah, we have adult orphans raising orphans, basically.
Yeah.
And so the great thing is we're able to put, we have a little church, we have a little school there, so that kids can be educated. Same with Pakistan. So yeah.
Oh, awesome. Good deal. Yeah. When you get Sweden going, let me know. I will be happy. I love Sweden. I had a blast over there.
Oh, that's great. That's good to know. I will keep you in mind.
Yes, I'll be happy to go visit. But
that'd be awesome.
yeah, but here in the United States, under the Biden administration, particularly with the open border policies and everything, we saw that there was over 350,000 kids that were allegedly lost or stolen or trafficked, however, the media wants to frame it. But we know that they did not go to where they were supposed to go to. We can just put it like that. And since the Trump administration came back into office, Tom Homan and company, and along with organizations like yourself and people that's in the human trafficking recovery operations, there was a effort to recover over 140,000 kids, and they were rescued so far. I'm sure there's more that we just haven't heard about yet, because a lot of these are like hush hush operations. Talk to us about that particular piece of the puzzle when it comes to rescuing these kids.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, kudos to all the organizations, DOJ, everybody that was involved in finding the 140,000 plus children. Imagine that. I mean, 140,000, that's bigger than a lot of towns and cities in the States.
True.
Okay. So we're talking a huge number of kids, and they were not staying at the Hilton. They were not at Disneyland. They were not being cared for. Yeah. So they did it the old-fashioned way. Imagine this, Randy, going door to door, checking addresses, following up on the addresses given by supposed sponsors of these children. And they coordinated their efforts because collectively we are stronger. One of the things that Voices Against Trafficking believes in is that, we're a stronger voice if we're collectively that voice. So they got these kids, and sadly, and not surprisingly, all of the kids have been hurt in some way, whether they were violated, whether they were, sold or used repeatedly. And yet in the beginning, as you mentioned in the previous administration, we were trying to do this out of compassion. Well, how is that compassionate when you can't keep track of these children and you don't go after finding them? Because now we know that at least these 140,000 plus are not connected to any family member or anyone that was expecting them to be in this country. So now you have not only children that do not have English as their first language, but you have children that were not getting educated, were not being treated medically, so they have their own health issues and can be a health risk. Originally, when I heard the first stories about this, probably actually about a year ago, there was a huge warehouse where like 2,000 kids were there with one bathroom, one toilet, one hole in the wall, hole in the ground. I mean, you have all these kids. Think about your kids at home when they were little, for those of you listening and watching, the germs that can accumulate. So not only are they sick, they're being preyed upon, but God bless the USA for not giving up on them and going after the locations and finding them, because if we could find them now, we probably could have found them 2 or 3 years ago, Randy.
That's true. And a lot during the previous administration, they were like, but like to your point, oh, this is humanitarian, this is to help get people into the country, escape. They were asylum seekers. There was all these excuses that were given, and the one thing that was crossing my mind was like, but where are they going? Who are they going with? Because these are just random kids that were smuggled into the country through cartels, through just a random person that would say, "Hey, I'm going to the U.S. Anybody want to come with me?" And the parents are like, "Yeah, take my kids. I'll catch up with them later," type of thing. And that was literally happening. And the media was like, well, "We don't see nothing. We don't hear anything." And here we are. Now we're gonna see I guess you could say, a reemergence of the DACA situation, where all these kids came into the country illegally. They grew up, and now it's like, hey, okay, do we send them back? No, because actually they probably have nowhere to go when they send them back. So they're just gonna be in this perpetual cycle of being trafficked around. And so I carry that concern for not only these children but for our country, because that is a matter of national security as well. And a lot of people don't look at it from that lens. But I want to get into, from your perspective, the physical effects of human trafficking, not only on children, but on adults that are caught up in human trafficking as well. And I want to get your thoughts on that.
Absolutely. A lot of people, first of all, let's get the big elephant, which is PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. We know that any kind of trauma can induce that, but especially intimate trauma like sexual abuse, even one sexual assault, let alone being trafficked. I was a child sex trafficking victim by family members for 17 years in the early 60s before they ever had a term for human trafficking. I mean, they didn't even talk about child abuse in those days. Children were more like chattel, physical things that could be moved around at the whim of whatever adult was in charge. So fast forward, I was 5 when I tried to take my life the first time, which in my life is where God met me. But for other victims and survivors who get through that heinous depravity, there are illnesses we now know, Randy. The past 6-7 years I've been following the research, especially out of Australia, but also one of our members, Gayla Bynum with We Will Survive Cancer. She also brought this to our attention on a bigger platform that shows physical ailments up to 73 can result from just one sexual assault as a child under the age of 18. So we may not see it in the first, 18 years, but whether 20, 30, 40, maybe they can't have kids, or maybe, they have other physical things. And I'm going to speak to my own in just a moment, but we know that includes cancers. Okay. So one sexual assault on a human being can result into up to 73 ailments. That is a lot of damage.
Yeah.
And how many physicians are trained to even recognize or spot that? It's very difficult. When I had a lot of respiratory issues, chronic bronchitis. I had all kinds of stress issues because of everything that had happened. Plus, people had tried to take my life a number of times. So all of that, by the age 17, the last time someone tried to choke me to death. I'm carrying all of that with me now into college, into graduate school, into the workforce, into potential relationships, not understanding why my back was always hurting or why I had these other issues. And I've probably had 9 or 10 surgeries in the last 20 years. And most of that related to the breakdown of my body from all of the things that happened to it and the inability to have children. So that is something that is not spoken about, not talked about. And they think, hey, we rescued them, right? We fed them. We got them safe. It's all good now. Well, no, it's not all good now, because
it's not.
My last predator died at age 92, and that was 3 years ago.
Wow. And
yeah.
To that point, I I don't like to advocate for violence because I am a very violent individual, but just by nature of being in the military. But it goes back to it harkens back to the Bible. Suffer the children, and those who suffer onto the children, may a millstone be thrown around your neck and you tossed into the lake. So there you go. And the idea that, and you're absolutely right. The PTSD, the trauma, you carry that, and people don't realize that. To your point, like oh, we rescued them. They're cleaned up. They're fed and everything else. They're still suffering. They still have that the mental behind it, that what they went through.
Absolutely.
Let's not even talk about the physical stuff yet, but the mental alone of just interacting and having a trust factor with that person, with the next person walking down the street, and they saying, "Hey, let's go take you for pizza." And they be like, "Yeah, about pizza. I don't like pizza anymore because the last person that took me for pizza, yeah, I was raped." And so those are
exactly.
those are things that trigger those are instances. Fireworks. They say we just celebrate America's 250th birthday. They say, oh, we got to be cognizant of the fireworks because of people with PTSD. Yes, true. However, we're as we get older and you come away from those situations, you learn to cope with it because that's going to be anticipated. That's a thing. So
right.
You can't tell that to a child. You can't tell that to a child like, well, you got to go to school. You have to go, hang out with such and such. You have to go do this. So get over it, type of thing. That's not something you tell a child or even an adult for that matter. That experience that kind of trauma. And so,
right.
I want to ask you, can you talk to us about coping and the coping mechanisms, not only that you use, but that you have seen others use to get over these kind of PTSD-like hurdles?
And I want to make it very clear, it is age appropriate. So not everything I say or everything you said is going to apply. That's why counseling is so important. I needed counseling to get through all of that. It took 3 years every week. But one of the most important things my counselor said, Randy, was, Andi, if we're not through this mess, she used a different word, in 3 years, then either I'm not doing my job or you're not doing the work. So here's the first platform for success. You have to do the work. Okay. You have to have a qualified counselor or someone that you trust, someone that can intervene and intercede for you, whether it's faith-based or not. And then from there, you build up coping mechanisms. I know every day is a different day for me, especially with traumatic brain injuries and 20 adult concussions. So, on top of what happened to me as a child, part of my balance issues, all of that kind of manifested in those things and heart issues. So for me, I know that there are certain things I can't watch on TV. I can't see it, I can't hear it, and I can't watch it. So major crimes shows. I love murder mysteries. Those don't bother me because I know that it's not real. But some of the things on the more realistic crime shows set me off. And so
48.
Yeah. Or so we have a lot of those.
That's weird. I can't watch them either for some reason. It's not that they.
But you're in the military.
Yeah, it's not that they trigger
and you
me.
Saw all that stuff.
Yeah, it's not that it trigger. I can't even say that it doesn't trigger me. I think it just makes me angry, and I'm like, I can't believe he did that, or I can't believe she did that. I want to choke him. And so I know myself. So I'm like, I'm not watching that stuff because,
Oh, absolutely.
You get angry or it does trigger something in you. And that's totally
And anger is part of that.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah. So you're right. So, sorry, there's a little lag here.
Yeah, I know,
you're right about the anger part, because once you realize what's been done to you and you really understand, and most victims are angry during the process as well, but they're trapped. They can't get out, especially in familial trafficking, because the bloodline covers a lot of sins, so to speak. The courts don't really acknowledge it. But as far as coping, so I know that it's either going to be, excuse me one second. The dry air in Oregon up here. It'll be exercise. It'll be self-care. It'll be watch something completely stupid on TV or like Facebook shorts that are just funny, that are just, crazy funny. And then more importantly, I'll call someone or talk to someone and say, you know what? I'm a little off today. I'm just having a tough time. Can you pray for me? Or do you have a second? Or let's go to coffee, and not everyone has that ability to do it, but you need your tribe. You need people you trust in your life where you can just text and say, man, I am so off today. I'm just going to take a break. If I don't get the dishes done or I don't get this report finished, the world will still keep turning because trust me, it will. But we have to be strong enough to be able to give ourselves those margins where we say, I'm just not here today. I'm just not up for today. I'm not depressed, but I do feel like something is going on. So I'm going to take extra special care or move a little more slowly today. Natural redheads, I don't know if you know this, Randy, but we like to get stuff done, man. We're just constantly on the move.
Yes. I do know that about redheads. That's true.
But I have to know myself well enough, and that partly came from counseling, partly came from faith, partly came from finding a human being I could actually trust and who is safe for me as a partner, as a marriage partner. But again, coping can come in a lot of different ways. Sometimes you just need a positive verse, or you need to look at somebody else's joy in order to remember what joy feels like, and then go find your joy. Or maybe it's a special treasure. I just wrote this in a chapter that think of something that's valuable to you. Everybody has something that's a treasure, whether it's financially valuable or spiritually or emotionally or mentally valuable. Why do you find value in that thing? Well, think about how good that makes you feel. So find the things that make you feel good. It could be a pound of chocolate. I mean, it could be going for a drive. But whatever you do, make sure it's a safe thing. Read a book. Read something silly,
I agree.
And
to that point.
That's how I cope. And a lot of times I just have to look in the mirror and say, you know what? I'm not perfect. I have a lot of things to still work on, but today I'm okay because God says I'm good.
Yeah, absolutely. And that is important, is to recognize when you're not okay, and having not only the courage, but the willpower to say, you know what? I need to let somebody know that I'm not okay. Because if you just keep that bottled in, it's going to, fester, and it's going to make your condition much worse. And so letting it out and recognizing it and seeking help or seeking companionship in that moment, it is very important. And I while he was talking about that, I thought about myself. There's days that I'm just like, I wake up and I'm like, I'm not doing crap today, because I am not peopling today. I just don't feel like it.
That's a good word.
I just don't feel like it today. And so I would sit on the couch, turn on my PlayStation, and I would play Call of Duty, kill about 1,000 people, in the game. And then I'm good. I'm like, okay, I'm ready to engage now. I got it out of my system. Or I may transition and play golf, and throw in the video game and play golf, and just get into that, because in the game it has that tranquil music in the background. So I just get lost into playing golf, and then next thing you know, it's like 8:00 at night, and I'm like, man, I've been on this thing since 8 this morning.
Wow.
And the battery is still good. Like, what's going on here? So, but you do that. It's a coping mechanism, and you mentally reset yourself to engage in whatever it is that you have to engage in. And some people say, that's healthy. Some people say, oh, that's not good for you. You need to find another outlet. And it's like, well, you can't tell somebody what outlet outside of it being safety, safe, but you can't tell somebody what outlet they have to use or utilize to feel better, type of thing. And
you're exactly right.
Yeah, I had soldiers over the years. They would do some of the silliest things to cope with the situation. I just look at them like, that's weird. That's different, but okay, I guess it works for you. If hey, whatever you need to do to get through the moment so we can get this mission done, take care of it. But hurry up, type of thing. And so I get it. And to your earlier point, the different illnesses and cancers that are derived from abuse, whether it's sexual abuse, physical abuse, just going through the trauma of being trafficked. It's one thing. It's one thing that you have these ailments and you seek help for it. You go to a medical professional about it, and they don't recognize that it's tied to that trauma. They may chuck it up to, oh, you're just getting old, or you this is just a genetic thing that's running in your family type of thing. And it's like, yeah, no, but this is what happened to me, so I think it's connected to that. And so the dismissal of the origin of these problems is another thing that should be addressed. And I encourage the audience today, if you've gone through something like this and you start to create or start to get, illnesses or some kind of ailments perhaps associated to that, bring that up and say, hey, I was raped, or I, was trafficked, I was beaten, type of thing. And so now these issues are happening to me, so the medical professionals can document that, and they can do their own internal studies and research and everything else to see that linkage. Because otherwise, they're going to continue to be dismissive about it. So I thank you for bringing that up, and it is a very important point to recognize, because a lot of people don't think about it that way. Like, my knees hurt,
Right.
My doctor, she just says, "Oh, you're just getting older," I'm like, I'm in my mid-40s. Okay, I get it. Older,
Oh my goodness.
but at the same time, but I know it's attributed to my service and all the years of running and jumping and everything else, and now it's just catching up to me. So if the VA can recognize that, I think the civilian side of the house can recognize this when it comes to trafficking, traffic victims. And so I just want to throw that out there to the audience. And before we move on, ladies and gentlemen, for those that are interested in learning more and getting involved with Voices Against Trafficking, you can go to voicesagainsttrafficking.com. Check out the website. There's a plethora of information and resources to your disposal that will help you in not only your journey, but someone else's journey that you may know that need this information. So please go to the website and check it out. And Andi, the book, I'm trying not to give it away here, but I'm gonna give it away. Voices Against Trafficking, the second book. It's a phenomenal book. And ladies and gentlemen, if you have not gotten it yet, you please go to Amazon.com or go to the website, voicesagainsttrafficking.com, and you can order it there as well. And I'm featured in the book as well. Shameless plug.
You are. I was just going to say, do not sell yourself short, Mr. Purham.
A shameless plug there. But the book is phenomenally done. And there's a wide range. It's a wide range. I'm gonna let you tell us about it. But it's a wide ranging book of stories and situations, and it's a roller coaster book, ladies and gentlemen. But Andi, take it away. Tell us about it.
Okay. Well, yes, we were so thrilled to have you in this book, Randy, because there are so many perspectives. But right off the bat, chapter 1, man, we talk about something most every human has been involved with or been in the area of, but probably didn't notice. One of our very own members was in an airport, and not going to give it away, but she spotted something that looked unusual between, a man in his 40s and a toddler, and at the end of the day, you're going to have to read the chapter, but it's something that we've all probably just walked right by and never even noticed before. And so we have those aha chapters in there. A mother that, went to Europe and had her aha moment when she learned from some of our friends in Sweden what was going on and things that she saw. But then we also have the 30,000 foot perspective. Why aren't we doing a better job at controlling this? What about the laws? So what about the culture of countries, not just ours, but all around the world? Also, something about PTSD, how to live with that monster in your life. So we have helpful things, we have aha moments, we have a mix. As you said, it's kind of a roller coaster in a good way. So there are 19 chapters, I believe, and you can pick one chapter up at a time, put it down, ponder it, think about it. You can also get our helplines and hotlines in that book. We were so thrilled that this became an international bestseller 2 days after its release. And we think that it should belong in everyone's library, personal, school libraries, church libraries, legal field, because honestly, our law enforcement in the US, at least, only 17% are trained, like really trained. And when I went to the National Academy, FBI Academy, to do some training years ago, it was amazing how many of these strong people that have to pick up these kids and stuff came to me with tears in their eyes after hearing my story and saying, we had no idea. We're just told, go get this person, bring them over here, especially if it's a teenager. They're all kind of classified as runaways. They don't really look into why they were running away.
Yeah.
And so we have so much to do and learn in this country. But the great news is a resource like this helps you to be able to talk about it with somebody else in a gentle way. We don't want to terrify people, but we do want to get them aware. And that was the point of the book, to bring everyday examples and also encouragement. There's a couple chapters that will encourage anyone out there who has been victimized, who is a survivor, to look at themselves a little differently. I mean, 6+ decades later, here I am doing something I had no idea I would ever be doing, but I can't stop either, because that next starfish needs to be thrown back.
Yeah. No, it's a passion, and I've known you for I guess 6 years now, 5, 6 years, 6 years. Wow, time is flying.
6 years.
And I know it's your passion. And this has became not only your baby, but it's now growing up to, being a teenager. And, so it's like, it's like watching
with attitude.
With attitude. Yes. Yes. And, the funny thing about, with law enforcement and military, when it comes to, dealing with human trafficking victims, we're trained. And I know you went through this as well. You're trained to kind of like almost subconsciously remove the emotional element from the situation, so you don't sit there and like you kick in the door or knock on the door for that matter, and there's this victim there, and you break down, start crying like, oh my God, come here, you can't do it. Yeah, you can't do that, because you gotta be prepared to perhaps put a bullet in somebody's head, once you enter into that situation, or you have to actually, interdict and rescue that child immediately, or that adult. And so you have to keep your emotions in check and under control, and subsequently you become numb to the situation. And over time, especially for those that's in this profession like yourself that deal with it every day, you kind of like check out the emotion. You just like, oh, you were trafficked. Oh, okay. Well, fill out this form and give us a call back when you're done. It's like, you just totally like missed the point of you getting that phone call. It's like, I need help. And so people like you will say, oh, wow, okay, are you okay? Are you safe? Where are you? You actually incorporate the human factor into it versus the robotic factor. And so it's very important that we recognize that as not only humans, but just in general, people that actually care, and not say that they care and don't care. So I thank you for that as well.
Thank you. Appreciate you being on board with us too, because we need people that are strong and part of our core team, because we are 100% volunteer driven. So all of us have things that we're doing, but collectively together. And another important point too is, I get this sometimes, oh, well, it's only been around a few years. It's like, no, human trafficking has been around just probably shortly after Cain and Abel. Think about the Roman Greco era, the trade of slaves, the trade for sex or debt repayment or labor. And then fast forward, this isn't about right versus left. It's about right versus wrong. And this should always be wrong, as the Honorable Blanquita Column always says. It should always be wrong to exploit another human being, especially a child, for profit.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I tease my parents to this day, and not to make light of the situation, but it's like you had all of us. I'm the oldest of 11 children, so it's 11
Oh,
siblings,
wow.
and
Wow.
combined with steps, halves, and all that. But the oldest of
Hmm.
11, and I say y'all ain't had us, so we'll be doing all the work around the house. You don't love us. And it's just like, shut up, get out the room. Matter of fact, go take the trash out on your way out. It's like, see, you just validated my point. But but you're
There you
absolutely,
go. There you go.
but you're absolutely right. The there is that the exploitation factor of children, and it's became part of just the guess you say the global culture, of raising kids, and you do things to them and say, "Oh, Bill's character," or "Oh, you need to learn a skill trade, so you're gonna fix the car every week," type of thing. And so, but
Hmm.
in the back of that adult's mind, it's like this is free labor, and so there is
Right,
that issue.
right.
Is and so I guess you could say I quarrel with the idea of utilizing children in that factor, but it's like, what else do we do? Do we just let kids, sit around and grow up and they have no skill set? They have no memory of, growing up and being told to do something like,
Hmm.
I'm sure you grew up in a household where you were told to adjust the antenna back in the day, not to date yourself, but it was stuff
I
like
have
that.
no industrial skills. That's why I'm a writer. but I have other skills. But to your point, the way that it can be done is simply by saying, hey, we all have chores. We're all part of this family, which is one unit, but we each have our own
Yes.
roles in keeping the family going. And then, hey, if they're 5 years old, they can pick up stuff off the floor
Hmm.
easier than I can now. But there are ways that families can do it. But here's what I find: a lot of parents, guardians, foster, whatever, don't know how to really have the conversation about human trafficking with their kids at an age appropriate time. And so we help people learn how to do that. We have programs, we have ways that we can give you that will help you. And we have a list of like 41 different things you can do to help keep your kids safe. And how to involve the family, whether it's a single parent, two parents, grandparents, foster parents. It doesn't really matter if it's uncles and aunts raising a kid. It doesn't matter. Every situation, we have a way to help open that conversation, because this goes beyond, as you know, stranger danger. I mean, we are way past that with AI and the internet,
Oh
and
yeah.
and the predators are very smart. This is money. This is a business to them. We're 160 billion plus transnational criminal enterprise out there globally. And the US is a huge demander of such things, which is really, I'm sure our founding fathers didn't plan on that part. Not that everyone's perfect, they're not. But at this point, everybody who knows about a child being abused or possibly trafficked is just as complicit, in my mind, as the
Hmm.
person doing the act, because if you don't speak up and step up, then you are part of the problem.
Problem. Yes.
So
Absolutely.
my challenge is: be part of the solution, be a voice of courage in your neighborhood, in your village, wherever you live, and find out the ways that you can do that. We can help you with that. So go to our site, voicesagainsttrafficking.com, click on contact, send us a little email, and we'd be happy to help you out.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. You have some
Mhm.
new things to reveal for us and some new
Yes.
projects. What are they?
I am so excited. We tested something out. I was on an interview, and the producer, the famous Dizzy D DJ, he was producing the show, and he said, "Andy, I have a group of people that would love to do something philanthropic, but no one will connect with us." I said, "Well, who are they?" He says, "Well, they're disc jockeys, they're DJs." I said, "Oh my gosh, music? Like, seriously, people in the music industry, music is universal.
Hmm.
Sometimes that can be healing, sometimes it can just be joyful, but it's got that, there aren't any politics or gender to it. It's just music, right?" So we put on the first DJs Against Trafficking worldwide music marathon last November. It was so successful. We're going to do it again this year in September. and it's going to be DJs Against Human Trafficking and Hunger, because hunger is a huge part of what happens with victims and survivors. But we are going to start, I don't know if we're going to start in Thailand again, but we're going to go all the way around the world, Randy, and it can be heard on the Soul 103.5, I believe. Don't shoot me if that's wrong. I'll get you the information. But what happens is we have like a 2-hour panel discussion at the start of the marathon. After that, then we have 40 to 45-minute music sets from one country, and then we have another little verbiage or maybe some sponsors, their messages to the public. But we go all the way around the world in 20 hours. And so it is rocking all the time. It's family appropriate music, y'all. So, just know that. But you can move and groove wherever you are in the world, and you'll still be able to hear about us. You'll be able to support us. We're raising funds, of course, because we have local, regional, national, and international people that we're helping. But that's one of the things coming up at the end of September, and I will send you the information.
Please do.
And then the other thing that we are hoping to launch is the Voices Against Trafficking University Tour. Randy, what we want to do is get on those college campuses, bring our expertise people, and bring survivors like myself, and help educate the college kids, the university kids that are out there, because one of two things will happen. Because it pays so much money, one of the college students might be the most likely to get recruited by other predators to be a groomer or a predator.
Yes.
Yeah. A few years ago, I think the going rate was $1,500 to $2,000 for one young man to go find one girl to bring to a party, which ends up being the segue into human trafficking, whether they throw them in a van or they take them somewhere. So big money for people on campuses. But the most dangerous place for a female right now in college is on college campuses, ages 18 to 24. And so we want to make sure that we get there. Let them know what the situation is. Hey, human trafficking exists. Here's how you can protect yourself. Here's how you can protect your friends, right? Peer-to-peer vetting. And here's what happens if you choose to become someone who recruits and grooms others for this depraved activity.
Yes, that's excellent. Now, I love that idea that you get into the college campuses, because that is very important. You're right. That is like a nebulous or a hub of where a lot of these things start, and it may be portrayed as innocent, at first, it's like, oh, we're having a party over here at this house tonight. And
absolutely.
Yeah, that's where it starts. That's the right there is the red flag in itself. I have never been to a party on a college campus where it was intended for good. They
weren't philanthropic,
right? Yeah, it didn't start off with Bible study. It just did.
Yeah.
And so I can see that, and in a lot of unfortunately, you have a lot of vulnerable women. Whether they've been encapsulated into their own little Mayberry town and never been, out anywhere. And so they come and they come and they're just so enamored with, the popularity of what's going on. And they get caught up, and that guy slips them, drugs in their drinks or says, hey, let's go back to my place. And next thing you know, you never hear from them again. And so I really truly appreciate that y'all are doing this, because it's a very important thing to do. And unfortunately, I'm actually surprised. I'm actually surprised that universities are not doing this already. It's like a freshman orientation, like a freshman orientation type of thing. Like, women, ladies, hey, meet me in this hall or meet me in this auditorium. I got some stuff to tell y'all. And they have that candid discussion. And so I'm surprised that's not going on, and I've never heard it happening. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you have heard
that's why we want to start it.
Yes,
we want to do it, Randy.
Yeah, absolutely. That is great, and I love that. And I'll be on the lookout for the DJs Against Trafficking information, so I can help share that around as well. Thank you so much.
That'd be great.
Yes, absolutely. I know you got to run. Where can people follow you and support you? And please, any last thoughts you may have?
Sure, absolutely. First of all, if you're a victim and or a survivor, you are not alone. There is help out there. I mean, once the basics are done, work skills, whatever you need, there are a lot of agencies, good ones, organizations like ours that can help or can direct you. Secondly, the social media part, I'm so sorry dealing with this cold today. The social media part, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram, any of those social medias, look up Voices Against Trafficking or Andi Beurger, and you'll find stuff like that. We do a lot of social media that give you tips and information every day, things to think about. Right now, we have a question out there about what you consider to be justice. And so look for that. And we have World Awareness for Trafficking and Persons Day on July 30th. July is a big month. There's a lot of activities going on. World Parent Day. There are a lot of days, Randy, and we try to address each thing. If you're a parent and you need help, let us help you. But I want to go back to your point really quick about the college campuses. Yeah, who's going to be first to step up? We need a pilot campus. If you're a college or connected to a college out there, let me know, because we want someone to step up and say, yeah, we want our students to be safe. We want them to be aware. Come on over, let's make it work. And we have the resources, we have the tools, we have the speakers, we have a curriculum actually, which would fall under probably humanities with a special emphasis on human trafficking that we could put together for any college or university. So we are hunting for that first organization in education that says we want to be the pioneer, we want to be the leader in keeping students safe across the world.
Awesome. Awesome. I love it. Thank you so much, Andi. I truly appreciate this. This actually lifted my spirits today. Knowing that,
Cool.
Y'all are doing this, because it's important work, and my purview of things, I don't see enough of it being done or talked about, so it is one of those things that, we just got to address it, confront the elephant in the room and, take a bite at it one bite at a time. And that's how we got to do it. So thank you so much once again. Be safe out there. God bless. And I look forward to having you back on anytime with any updates or just to catch the world up on what's going on.
Sounds great. I will take you up on that. You're stuck now.
Absolutely. Look forward to it. Be safe.
Awesome. Well, thank you. All right.
Absolutely.
You too.
Okay.
Bye.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, Andi Beurger with Voices Against Trafficking. Please go check out not only the website. Like I said, this is something that's very important, not only to me, but important to a lot of people. voicesagainsttrafficking.com. Go check that out. Get the resources, and don't forget to also just go pick up the book. Read up on it. Get smart as to what's going on out there. Voices Against Trafficking. There's two books. This is the newest one, but you could pick up the other one. Pick up both of them. That way you have the whole collection, and subscribe to the newsletter as well. voicesagainsttrafficking.com. You can click on the link to subscribe to the newsletter and get plugged in and become a member even. And so we ask that you do that and be part of the solution and not the problem, as we spoke about today. Folks, I'm going to jump up out of here. It is Friday, and I hope you all enjoy the weekend and y'all be safe out there and don't do anything stupid. And if you do, don't call me, because I'm just going to laugh at you. Holler at you later. I hope you enjoyed today's program. You can follow, like, share, subscribe on Spotify, Substack, Rumble, YouTube, Facebook, and your news. And also, you can download Let the Truth Be Told app on your favorite streaming platforms, such as Fire Stick, Apple TV, and Roku. Take care. God bless.